Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video in the build series on the new van. One of the things I want to talk to you about is you might be wondering, is will I or won't I keep the hitch haul, the rack in the back? And as you can see, the build is done and I have left town. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, and I kept it. I love this thing. There's not a chance in hell that I will be without this thing. I really do like it. It gives me so much extra storage space that it's well worth it to me. The two big questions you're going to ask are, well, Bob, you can't get in your back door. What good is it if you can't get in the back door? I mean, I don't want to give up that, and I agree, I don't want to give up that either. But in this case, you don't have to choose. Just switch that thing open and pull it down, and my goodness, it's just this simple. Now I can fully open the side door. Both doors will now completely open. I get in, I get access, I can crack it if I need ventilation. I really like that. This is a Stowaway brand name, stowaway.com. It's $289. I've had it about a year and a half and I love it. Now the rest of this video is going to be the discussion. I'll receive it, I'll unpack it, I'll build the box. Let me close this thing for you. See, it's very simple. You heard it hit and latch. There are a couple others, and I'll show you all that in the video. I'm not going to go into detail now, just to tell you that I really love this thing. I love the fact that it opens. It's $290. The boxes cost me about $100. The plywood and the hardware that I bought, another $50 maybe. So for less than $450, I've got everything you see here, and I'm extremely, extremely pleased and happy with it. I'll never be without it while I'm living in a van. So let's go ahead and watch the video now. The reason I have waited so long to get this up is because I wanted to be able to say I've had it. I've been using it for almost a year and a half now, and I really am glad. It's a long-term user report. So let's go ahead and watch the video, and I think you're going to love this thing as much as I did, if you can afford it. It is kind of expensive at $450 the way it's sitting here right now. You may be thinking, well, wait a minute, Bob, I've seen them advertised for $700 or $800. That's if you use their box. Their box is super expensive. Don't buy their box. Buy just the frame, which I did, $289. And I built my own plywood front box and then put my own boxes on top of them. Super easy, nothing to it. Another question people say all the time is, well, Bob, doesn't it drag? I mean, don't you? I've heard of people who bought these things and they drug constantly. No, as you'll see in the videos, it's got a very high rise. And I have rarely ever drug on it. I take my vans in bad places and they almost never drag. So drag is not an issue to me in any way, shape, or form. I would urge you to consider buying one of these things. Don't give a thought to drag. Okay, let's go ahead and consider this my review. I love it. I wouldn't be without it. And now let's see the details of unpacking it and building what I have here. I hope you enjoy it and consider it for yourself. Today we're going to talk about how can you fit everything you own in the world in a van. And this has been a big solution for me, is a hitch haul with boxes on the back. Why boxes? Why not just pile it all on here? Because it'll get stolen, it'll get wet, and it'll get covered with dust. Now, the boxes all lock. Here are my padlocks. They all will lock. Now, they're plastic. Anybody with a cordless saw can come along here and just cut this off. This will keep your stuff safe from a casual thief. Then the next question is, why don't you just get your stuff down far enough so it all goes inside? Very good question. It's reasonable to think that most people can do that. Some of us can't. I carry a lot of camera gear. I carry a 6-foot step ladder, and so I need stuff that takes up a lot of my space. Is all the camera gear I carry. But another thing is, we almost always carry some outdoor stuff. I don't, but a lot of people do carry generators. And where's your generator going to go? For a lot of us, you have hot weather, cold weather clothing and gear. It can do a lot for the average person. Now, one question people ask all the time is, well, aren't you constantly banging it, or dragging it? You pull into, just in most parking lots, doesn't it drag all the time? No. I've had this on here for 2 full years, and in that 2 full years, I can count on one hand. the number of times I've drugged the back end. And I also go in some really bad roads. I go in roads that most people would be afraid to go on with a van. Now, the one exception to that would be in the desert. In the desert, you have a lot of washes, and the roads will just go up, drop down, and come up. And I'm scared of those because I have an extended van. I've got a long wheelbase extended van, and I am so long, and they're almost always either big rocks or sand at the bottom of these washes. I'm kind of scared of washes. Now, a wash would be a problem because when you dip and come up, the box in the back will drag, and so, but I rarely go through those because I'm scared of them. I don't want to get stuck in them. What is the really big problem is you can't open the back door, and that's as far as you can get the door open. But this is a significant issue to me, that I can't get in my back door, and so I was looking for a solution for that. And I think I have found it, and so that's what this video is about. Inside this box is just a frame, and what the frame is going to do is it's going to replace this other frame that I have, and it will go into the 2-inch receiver, and it is actually built on a hinge, and it will swing away. Then you can get 100% access and get into your back door. It was fairly expensive. It was $269, and that did include the shipping. And it's just the frame. Now, you've probably heard of these before and seen these before, and they're extremely expensive. Start at $600, $700, $800. Outrageous. I couldn't consider expending that kind of money just on this box. Before, the box I have on here is $60 for one and $40 for the other. I've got $100 in boxes. And the frame is about $150 off of Amazon. So I've got about the same amount of money invested in what I have here as this frame, but and then I'm going to put that box on this frame. I can figure that out real easily. The reason you think of them as so expensive is because they come normally with the boxes attached, and the boxes are $400. So you pay $269 for the frame and $400 for the box, and you're up at almost $700. Okay, so this is my current setup. This is a Husky. You can see the name here. I bought this at Home Depot. It was $70, $69.99. It's an exact copy of the Stanley. It's called a job box. Contractors use these in their trucks. They'll drag them off. You can see it actually has wheels, and they have here a handle, so you can move this around a job site. It's called a job box. I can actually hang if I do my own laundry. I can hang my clothes to dry on this. And then this is a action packer. That's the name of it. Made by Rubbermaid. Rubbermaid makes better quality products. Sterilite's good, surprisingly good, but Rubbermaid's far better, and I really recommend Rubbermaid. And I'm not really using this. I got a tarp and a few odds and ends. Some people say, well, it's just going to get stolen. They'll just pull the pin and take off. Well, of course, simple solution to that. And that's a locking pin. And you can see that a key goes in there and it's locked. So, again, a pro can knock that off there real quick. But you're going to have to be a pro. The casual user, nobody's just going to walk by and see this. Hey, I'm going to steal that, and it's gone. You can see that this one is high. It really does go up a long ways. So here's the grand unveiling. Just like you, I have no idea what's in here. Well, maybe they sent me an empty, really heavy box full of rocks. I'm hoping not, but I'm hoping that what I want's in here, but we're going to find out. Let's see. Well, it doesn't necessarily look like $269, but it is. Just a standard 2-inch receiver. Go on the receiver. Great big hinge pin here. Really stout hinge pin here. Big bolt. And it swings around on that. And it comes with its own frame. Now, 2 frames here with bolts already in them. So I will just have to drill up into my box or whatever I put here. I'm a little bit undecided on that. This is a thing that hitch tightener. If you've ever seen hitches, there's always a lot of play here in this 2-inch. It doesn't fit real snugly, so it's easy to go in and out. And there's always a play. If you've ever seen one of these carriers on the back of a van, it wobbles. This is famous, what they've made. It's got a U bolt. square U-bolt for the 2-inch receiver, and it's supposed to really eliminate that problem. Well, it looks like there's no assembly required. It just pull the old one off, put the new one on, figure out how to mount the box, and I'm done. So folks, here's the swing-away carrier on. It's going to be easier to see it before I get the box put on it. So let me show you. Well, it's still relatively easy. It's latched in here, and here's how you unlatch it. It actually has a little screw thing here. This is just a bolt with a T handle on the end. You undo the bolt, so it's completely free. So you lift this up. This is just simple spring that holds it down. Latch, no. Yeah. And then there's one more thing that keeps it in. On this end, there's a pin. Now it still can't swing open. I can't swing that open. And then now it swings away. Goes back in. Show it back in, but it's reversed. You heard it snap. It cannot come out. It's latched. So it has 3 safety mechanisms. Once you secure this thing, there's no chance in hell it's coming off. This is all treated lumber. Big fan of treated lumber. This is going to be exposed to the sun for a very long time. Sun and rain and wind and the elements. So this is treated. Painting it on top of that is just icing on the cake, and that'll keep it from drying out and cracking. So let me throw some of this on, and I'll give you an idea of how I'm going to build the box. So here are the 2x4s bolted on. I'm using 3-inch stainless steel bolts because I don't want them to rot away in the rust. And this has got a really high lift. Comes out and then up, and it's quite pretty high. And so I am not in the least bit concerned about this dragging. The other one never drug, and this is actually a little closer and higher. So I don't think there's much chance of this dragging. So now I'll actually mount the box. I'll put the plywood on, show you how that went, and then mount the boxes. Okay, so most of the construction is now done. You last saw me with the 2x4s in. I've actually bolted them and attached them, and have put the plywood down and screwed it in. It's just a matter of playing with it. I wish I could give you big tips. It's just you know, one of these projects, their size and dimensions are all so different. I can't give you a rule of thumb here. A couple of things you'll notice right away that I had to do. So I had to dig that out so I can release that and get into the latch. And down on this end, the hinge, you've got to get in, and that gives me a 2-foot by 5-foot platform, exactly what I had before. But now let me show you what a problem that you need to be aware of before. And I knew this, I knew going in. So now she swings away just fine. She's not going to hit. Okay. But there's a loss here because of this box is so big. The door will now no longer open all the way. That would be, I'm actually going to keep the boxes off center. One of the last boxes will come to here. The door will open about that much. But I can live with that. The other door opens 100%, which is fine. Or I could, if I put a box right to the end, it would only open this much, which is not ideal. But again, the other door will open 100%, and as long as it's still plenty, that's good enough for me. But be aware that I made the decision to not have the door open completely. Otherwise, you would have to leave off this piece. You just have the 2x4 piece slightly off center, and either way would work just fine. I'll stop there, and I'm going to put in a coat of paint because now I've got raw wood that's exposed to the elements. I'm going to put paint that, and then and one last coat of paint. I'll cover all the nails. All these concern me a little bit, so I'll put one last coat of paint on the on that deck and dry it, and then I'll be ready to put the boxes on.